Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be showing you the real power of arrays and how to use arrays as maps and sets to hugely optimize your code and help you in sticky situations in programming. You can't believe how much it can save you. In some cases, using maps has taken 2 seconds, but just converting them to arrays has massively improved it, making it run in only 100 milliseconds. So, one of the first reasons that hashing is so much more expensive, hashing is the way that you access key value pairs in sets and maps, is worse than arrays is because the sheer constant factor. Here you see the Bob Kennan's hashing function, which is very popular, and you can see that just looking at this function, there's a lot. Versus with an array, if you just wrote the bare code, it would literally only take one line. Because of all of this, even though it's very optimized using very, very low level memory states, accessing arrays can be millions of times faster, causing massive helps in your code. So, let me show you how to do it. So, in this case, we'll be working with maps, which in this case I've used a map which is in technically terms, a tree map. Though this isn't a hash map, to use that you'd have to do unordered map. This still has a lot of constant factor because you have to sort it into a tree. Now, in this case, using an array, we can do everything we do normally, but with much less constant factor. Here is how we define it. You have A, which is an integer. Since it's a map, we need to know how many of it. And if the keys are integers, we can just have it like this as the indices. Now, in this case, we know that the maximum number or size of the map is 100, so we can just set it at 101. Now here you see that's what we do with the map, and as we can see below, I can do all the same thing. But as you see, an array does not have a size, right? Because we set that at the beginning. So simply, I can just have a size and increment it every time I add an element and every time I delete an element. Now, how do I tell if something is in the array or not, which in a map I do with count? Well, in this case, if you do a global variable, which is a better way to do it, it'll set everything as 0 to default. So we can and in this case, let's say 0 is not a thing we wanted to store. Then, if it's 0, then we know it hasn't been set yet. If you want to set it to -1 or something else, then you simply have to traverse the array, which is not that bad since you only have to do it once. If we run this, you can see that it yields exactly the same answer, and though you can't see it here, much, much faster. Now, we can do the exact same thing with sets. Except, now since we only have to store if it's there or not, we can use booleans. Same thing with a size. We can use a size to tell how many things are in the array. And then we have over here, we can check if it's true or if it's false. If it is false, that means that it's not in the array. If it's not in the set. If it is, then we know it is in that. And again, we can use a size to determine how many elements we've stored in the array. And as you can see, it works perfectly. So, this is a way to hugely improve your code, and I strongly encourage you that every time that you can, you use it. Obviously, if doing everything possible was too much, like if you have up to 1 billion elements, which is like the max value, then obviously you're not able to do it. But every time you can, I'd strongly encourage you to do it. And or if you're struggling in a problem and you need to just squeeze some milliseconds out, I would definitely suggest you try it. Also, if you'd like to learn more about Vim, which is the code editor I'm using, you can tell me down in the comments. It's very interesting. You only use your keyboard, which is why you see the mouse can't even do anything, and it's pretty helpful. So that's it for today. Have a good evening, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.